Hey, what's up, everybody, and welcome back to the channel today for another review. And today, myself and Terrell, Terrell and I, we're going to be reviewing the film Everything, Everywhere, All at Once, which made its world premiere at South by Southwest Film Festival 2022 and will be releasing by A24 April 8th. This film is just, for lack of better words, this film is just insane. It was a headliner at South by Southwest, so I already knew there was a little bit of expectation with it, and now I'm having a chance to see it. I'm just kind of mind blown at what I just experienced. It is just completely off the rails. It has a fantastic cast, led by Michelle Yeoh, also alongside of Stephanie Hsu, Jamie Lee Curtis, Hao Kwan. Just a fantastic cast. James Hong as well. So like you just got a lot of reputable names, and I gotta say, anything with Michelle in there, there's always the expectation that you're gonna have fantastic choreography, and to believe it or not, that's not even the best part of this film, because she's just a legend in terms of martial arts films. Recently in Shang-Chi, and a ton of Avatar films that are coming. Just that expectation that when she's in the film, you're going to get some really good choreography, and thus it was top tier. But that still wasn't the best part of this film. Troy, what's your quick thoughts about your quick reaction upon watching the film?
Whoa, the trailer is that trailer is purposely cut the way it is. Like, it's very misleading as to what this film actually is. We know it's some type of multiverse thing from the trailer, but that's not even like the tip of the iceberg of what this movie actually is, man. It's so deep in so many different levels, not even, no pun of multiverse intended, but so deep in so many different levels through the universes. And honestly, this blew my expectations of what I expected from this, you know what I mean? Like, so especially being an A24 film, it still keeps its artsy with the weirdness, which, you know what I mean? Like, they did a really good job of handling this movie.
Yeah, I mean, to kind of go over just the bare minimum what the film is about, Evelyn Wang is a immigrant who is just trying to get her taxes done. That's it. That's her big concern. Like, she wants to get her taxes done, and it's tax season now, by the way, and we all know the headache and the strain and the demand of preparing your taxes, especially anybody who owns a business. And that's all she wants to get done. She just wants to get her taxes done. But as Terrell said, that's just the tip of the iceberg, because while you do know that, it also intertwines into something much, much deeper, her being a Chinese immigrant, and just this insane adventure where she's just trying to like go through the different universes, connecting them all, and therefore to accomplish a couple of different things. One, protecting her daughter, but yet connecting with her daughter, protecting herself, also trying to find her true alpha self, protecting her alpha self and the other alpha selves against a greater threat, in what happens to be her daughter's alpha version. Like, there's just a lot going on here. But yeah, I don't think that two same people are going to be able to say exactly what their take of what the film is, because it's just really just that unhinged with so many different things happening, and it's completely a mess, but it's fantastic in doing so. So let's talk about production a little bit. What were some of the things that really stood out for you?
Oh man, just the scene work here. I mean, just how like a lot of the stuff was strung together, and edited wise, like it looked really good. Like, this is like, this is kind of like a lot of the movie is shot within like an office space, you know what I mean? So like, even like, layering those scenes on top of scenes to make it flow is like one thing really stood out to me. Is I'm like, man, the editing is insane in this movie. Like, I couldn't imagine being the guy that has to edit this. Like, I would kill myself. Like, it's so much that was scene on top of scene, like, just to make it look like one consecutive thing. And like I said, it wasn't low budget by any means, but it wasn't a movie that required like $100 million or anything. Like, it's not a big Marvel flick, you know what I mean? Like,
yeah,
it still look good.
Yeah, you bring up Marvel, Anthony and Joe Russo are a part of this, and interesting enough, this film when announced back in 2018 that Aquafina was actually supposed to be in the position of where Michelle Shu, not Michelle Shu, because it's
Stephanie.
already, yeah, Stephanie Shu, thank you, was going to be, which I couldn't even imagine how crazy of a dynamic that would have been with Aquafina and Michelle. And like, damn,
Second time.
they would have worked 2 films together.
Yeah.
They would have had like a lot of, yeah, but let's not take nothing away. Stephanie is fantastic. Her fashion, her being able to compliment these folks that are just legendary in their performances with Jamie Lee Curtis and with Michelle, and I think she just really did a good job in bringing continuity to the scenes. Yeah, the editing is fantastic, and well, if you don't believe us, well, that's fine, because this also did win the Adobe Editing Award at South by Southwest.
Wow.
So, you know, it just shows you to the what extent of how good the editing was. But I thought the editing was good. I thought the score was fantastic. I really loved the third act of this film, where I felt like the editing, the editing, the visuals, the score, the choreography, just the stakes of the film. I thought everything really brought it home. And I just thought that like there was just so many different things that were happening throughout this entire film. It's a long film, but to find a way to bring this all in was very key. And I thought it really excelled on that note. I mean, this really, really was a good film that just had amazing pacing. And as I said, all over the place, but still somehow finds home. And also had a good message in as well with it as well, too, which, you know, I really do. I really love. And let me just be very clear while we're talking about time travel, or not time travel,
multiverse
hopping and whatnot. This film is completely off the chain. There are some butt plugs. There is bloody dildos. There's things that are happening here that you're just going to kind of jaw dropping moment. And let me also, for all my gamers out there, in order to connect with your different multiverse personalities or bodies, shall I say, which each of these bodies, each of your different bodies in different multiverses, in different universes, have different abilities. And in order to do so, you have to do some type of weird act in order to activate it, which is called the pad. And then when you use the pad, then you can connect with it. Think of it like Sense8, if you've seen it on Netflix, where like you have a consciousness in other bodies and you can connect with them and use their ability. And in this case, in order to do so, you have to do something super crazy, like snort a fly or chug a whole 2-liter or just anything random. And that's the only way that you activate it, by hitting these old school Bluetooth, Motorola Bluetooth. One of the first Bluetooth I ever had. I probably still got it around somewhere too. And then you activate it. And then to kind of understand the grid, if you've ever played Final Fantasy X, it looks like the glyph map.
Your grid.
You can see it all out, and you can connect to the different ones. So you can say like, if I connect to that one, I can get this ability. And if I connect to this one, I can connect to this ability. And then you possess those abilities and you can start utilizing that in whatever body you're currently possessing. So if you need to use Kung Fu, or you need to use the ability to be really good with your hands, or you need the ability to be able to twirl something, you can connect to all of these in it. And that's just like their way of telling what the multiverse is, which I thought is cool, unique. And I also thought it was like refreshing because it was different. But the film was about 2 hours and something minutes. The first act is 1 hour. The second act is like the second hour. And then the third act is like 5 minutes. And then I'm sorry, the third chapter, not acts. The third chapter is just like 5 minutes. But the third act is about 30 minutes solid, bleeding in between the second act, the second chapter and the third chapter. So, but overall, just really good pacing. Just a lot of different things happening. Totally laughable moments. Almost nonstop laughing, and really in complimenting the action as well too. So like it just really works together really good, man.
Yeah, like I said, like you were saying about the how it's chaptered, I really like how they did that. They literally break down the title and make those the chapters of the movie. And I was just like, you know, trying to see what was contained within the everything, the anyway, you know, everything, you know, all what was contained within each one of those chapters. And like I said, it it was crazy. Like especially
Yeah,
the way it's set up. And like you just mentioned the whole sphere grid thing. I didn't even catch that, the way it was set up, and how they had to like slingshot themselves through their universe by doing, like you said, these obscene things to themselves to access that sense 8 power up. And I didn't even think about that kind of a multiverse thing. Whoa,
yeah,
where no, that was kind of, those people all existed in the same world, but they were linked. You know what I
yeah,
mean? And like I was telling you earlier, like I was thinking about the Jet Li movie, the one where like he killed different versions of himself and he got power, he got stronger, he got faster, he got smarter.
yeah,
It's so many different multiverse movies that they've done, but this is, like you said, definitely a unique take on that left or right decision, creating an infinite path and being able to jump from to that different path that you could have took, and then
yeah.
whatever that. So that's pretty cool.
Yeah, and I just want to say too, like depending on where you're at, like pay attention to your local theaters because this is having a very strange release. Canada's getting it at a certain date. There's also another limited release coming April 1st, and then I think then it will be globally, or I don't know, whatever. It'll be fully released, as I said, by April 8th. So, like, if you want a chance to check this out, just keep an eye out in theaters. But my biggest thing is that just no way to prepare for this film. It is
Right.
insane. It is unlike anything you've ever seen. Literally, that's the first thing I thought was like, I have no clue what I watched. I know I loved it, but I've never seen anything like this. And while you can draw, comparisons to other films, it literally just feels so unique. And the performances, I mean, we didn't speak about it, but like we know what it is entirely. Every bit of the cast members brought something different and unique to it. We
That
didn't
was
even talk
crazy.
about Jamie Lee Curtis, but Jamie Lee Curtis as one time sort of your protagonist, I mean antagonist, but then kind of plays a protagonist at times. And either way, she just wears a couple of different personalities, and she's so good. She's so good, and it's like she's like wine. She's getting better in age, and this is just her showing her dynamics. Even within this movie alone, you're seeing the dynamics of her acting, and this super solid. And her a side of Michelle was some of the best scenes in the film. Very laughable at times, but also it's like so unpredictable. You just don't know what the two of them were going to do, you know?
Right. They, like you said, I mean, like each one, every character in this movie is playing, like, you might as well say 10 different characters apiece.
Yeah.
Especially Michelle, and I think the husband's name. Um, they're playing like different multiverse versions of
Yeah.
themselves, and they all have a different personality and they act completely different. So to see them like jump from different, at different acting styles for these characters is insane, like within seconds. And the
Yeah.
way, like I said, it's even the daughter, she does a really good job
Yeah.
of her different multiverse stuff and stuff like that. So
Yeah.
they
Yeah.
killed it, man. They killed it acting
Yeah.
wise. Yeah.
I think this is going to be a film that people will talk about for the year, especially towards the end of the year, as being one of the best films they've seen this year.
Oh yeah.
I definitely would agree with that. There's another film that I really liked a lot, but this is definitely within my the upper echelon of films that I enjoyed this year. This really made a good impression, and for it to be as long as it is, because anybody that's a fan of mine here, I like an hour and a half with my film, but for it being 2 hours, I will damn sure sign up for it again. Like I've really had a good time for it. And I can't wait to own it. And just
I
the,
was gonna
the
say that. Yeah.
graphical material is just so good here. And it's just like, even you can see in the background here, like it's just so many different reasons you can watch this. There's so many different things. The fashion was good, the fight choreography was good, the editing was good, the score was good, the performances was good, the story and the plot was unique, and it's not something you've seen before. And then again, just their explanation of what the multiverse is not
Right.
something you've seen. We think the multiverse is just like from one place to the next place, et cetera, et cetera. But being able to connect with their other versions and utilize their skills and to bring it back and to use other and see others doing it at the same time and having stakes on the line. It's I don't know, man. This was just a really good
The
film.
the movie really made me think about the movie Turning Red a little bit too, and dealing with some of those topics, with throwing the multiverse formula on there, because that's a lot of what this movie is. It pretty much parallels with like the mom and the daughter and stuff like that.
Yeah,
And the mom pretty much dealing with potential paths that she could have took, and because she feels unhappy in her life, and this is why a lot of this splits off. And like I said, going back to Turning Red and looking at that, like the mom dealing with the whole thing with her mother and the potential of what she could have been, stuff like that. So it just made me think about that, like a lot of those relationships. That seems to be the topic this year. You know
Yeah.
what I mean? But this movie took it a way different approach about it. It was
Yeah,
wild.
yeah, very much true. And I quickly end on this is by saying with more, with a more display of the Asian culture, and we actually getting more
Mhm.
into a glimpse of the of what that culture dynamic is like in terms of, um, sort of the acceptability amongst the family and just the societal pressures within the family. You know, a mother and a daughter, their approval, the daughter who is queer and seeking approval and acceptance from their elders, and how that can tear a family apart, but also like how different choices could ultimately have led to that, and then generational trauma that goes on. Like with everything that's happening with this film, just very very good deep rooted messages within it, for anybody, and I
I'm
think
telling
that
you,
I gained an appreciation for that.
it's an ongoing theme, man. From Encanto to Turning Red to this, and I mean, Encanto was dealing with like a Latin family and stuff like that. But like I said, it seems to be the topic of the year,
Yeah,
or for the
yeah.
last couple months. So
Yeah. But folks, we can keep going on about this, but this is everything everywhere all at once. You totally check it out. It is rated R. I will have to say, I know there's maybe means if you thinking this is family friendly. It is not. It is definitely
definitely not.
unhinged, it's off the chain, and it's just a solid, good movie. You will have a good time. But when you do check it out, jump in the comments, let us know your thoughts about it. And as always, stay tuned for more reviews very soon.